Okay, hey Mr. Bailey. So for my assignment, I aimed to create a blog that answered the question, does humanity have enough information to disaster-proof the planet? So you can see that the last thing I posted was actually my bibliography, and that's because I tried to sort of follow the way that a blog works, periodically posting things and then working through the assignment. So I'm going to go down to blog archive, which is over here, to go down to the Japanese earthquake and tsunami of 2011. So here I have all the information on the event with various maps and pictures. This one was made in Google Earth by myself, where I pinned all the different prefectures and major cities that were impacted by the tsunami. I've embedded a link, it's a TED talk on how tsunamis work. I've embedded multiple pictures, and I've gone through and I've done a sort of 8-step process of what actually happened in the Fukushima Daiichi disaster, and also other events like the fires that occurred that actually killed 165 people. And so I've gone through and I've just worked through and completed the work in this sort of manner. So that's the end of that, but I'm going to scroll back up to the top here because I have a video that I would like to draw your attention to. So for both the Japanese earthquake and tsunami and Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami, I created a video on the tectonic movement behind the event. And so what I've done for this one is I've just done a screen recording of the Pacific plate and the area surrounding the Pacific plate, and then I've just walked through. I also did this for the Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami, which I'll show you in a second. So going back to my sort of drop-down menu, I'm going to go to the Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami, and I've done the same thing here, and there you can see the other YouTube video that I've created. I'll just let it load here. Alright, so you can see that it's also done for the Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami. So heading back, as I scroll down, I've got multiple pictures of where it was actually affected because it was such a huge area that was affected. And for the Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami, I've actually broken down into a quick blurb of all the different areas that were affected, sort of to try and get a general overview of where was actually hit by this tsunami. And I'll also draw your attention to this website just here, which is quite a cool website that does a comparison of when the disaster struck and what it is today, or when it was what it was in 2014. So that's another website that I chose to embed. And basically, it's just the same as the Japanese one. I've just gone through and ticked off the criteria, and I'll go back up to my drop-down menu, and I'll go to prevention, limitations, and disasters. So I've just gone through. I've looked at seismometers, creep meters, strain meters, laser beam surveys. I've also looked at earthquake early warning, which basically uses a whole lot of sensors to predict when an earthquake's going to strike in your area and give you warning, which is sort of new technology. And I've also looked into the phenomenon of the electromagnetic releases and the lights and thermal infrared anomalies that you can see where the epicenter of an earthquake is going to be. I've kept going through. I've looked at deep ocean tsunami detection buoys, which are now deployed in 4 areas around the world, giving people a good warning system if a tsunami is about to hit. Okay, going up to minimizing damage and risk. This is the second part of part B, and I've just gone through and done this. Looked at liquefaction or liquefaction, however you want to pronounce it, different resistant buildings and engineering. I've also gone through and had a look at how you can build buildings that are resistant to tsunamis as well. And also, more importantly, how lives can be saved. I'm also really excited about this part of my blog. So I told you that I was trying to get in contact with Professor Roger Bilhelm. Unfortunately, he's in the mountains of Colombia, so it's a bit hard to get in contact with him. But instead, I was able to get in contact with Brian Shiro, I think that's how you pronounce it, from the Pacific Warning Center. And I gave him the same questions that I was going to give to Professor Roger Bilhelm, and he answered them in amazing depth. Gave me some great resources to use actually in my assignment. There's a quote that I placed in my assignment from him, and yeah, he just basically went through and answered all the questions in a good paragraph of length. And so I got a response from a geophysicist from the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center, which was pretty awesome. And then I have my conclusion, which sort of summarizes everything that I've been thinking about in the whole assignment, collated into one sort of little bit, apart from my abstract obviously, but that's a separate part. So I've gone through and just broken down different things like the fact that prediction is still fairly far away, and so we can't really disaster proof if we don't know how to predict earthquakes. And there needs to be more education, as only 58% of people in the worst hit prefectures move to higher ground. And the fact that there's different economic and social differences that cause other areas to be more protected from tectonic disasters than others. And then I've just gone and concluded. And so that's basically just my conclusion of all of the research that I've done. And then going in, I have my bibliography. And now I just want to highlight one thing really quickly to you, sir, is that I put the websites in correct bibliography order with a one-sentence evaluation on all of them. Scrolling down. But for my bibliography for images, which includes photos and also graphs and everything like that, I've said image order from first to last post in order of appearance, as images are unable to be referenced in the blog themselves. This is because you can't actually insert text boxes in a blog, and therefore I couldn't put a little reference below them. And so I've said that I put them in the order that they come in, and that's given you the order, and hopefully this is okay. Anyway, sir, that's it from me. That's basically my assignment, and I hope you had a good time in Vietnam and Cambodia.